We have our final part, which is actually a presentation of a real project that is done with GPT, actually. And this is a project where we will invite to the stage Professor Tamila Triantoro from Quinnipiac University. Quinnipiac University is a long-term friend of Koźmiński University for many years now, and I'm happy that we are conducting this project together. And our PhD candidate, Konrad Sowa, who works with me at the Human Race, which is Human-Machine Interaction Research Center here at Koźmiński University, where we investigate the power and limitations of artificial intelligence. The project, as you will see, focuses on collaboration with AI. We are saying very normatively that the idea is not so that ChatGPT or any other technology for that matter should replace you, but rather that you can effectively work with it. And we're going to show you some preliminary results of the work that we've been conducting for the past half a year or so. So I'm inviting Tamila and Konrad to the stage now. And a bravo.
Thank you so much, Professor. It's an honor to be here on this conference. And actually, would you like to add something?
Yeah, just wanted to, well, we got invited to a stage, and I think Konrad will go first, and I will just proceed after.
Thank you so much. What I wanted to say is that we are very happy to be actually at the end of today, even though there's half of the room already empty. But we are happy because a lot of the concerns that we are trying to answer in our research center has already been mentioned today. So I'm quite sure that your heads are full of questions about the future of work or the future of education. And I hope that with what we are going to show today and also in the next couple of years, because it's quite a huge problem that we are tackling and quite a huge research that we're doing. I hope that you will get at least some of the answers or with the light that we shine on those problems. The story today is about human-AI collaboration. But before we get to the collaboration, we need to give you a background for that. Because it's like, imagine last time you watched a movie and this movie started with 1 or 2 minutes of intro of what's going to happen at the end. But then the whole movie was a build-up to this moment. So what I believe is that human-AI collaboration is the way that we are going, and that is the light we are shining on the future, that people will collaborate with AI-based systems of many different kinds, not only chat systems such as ChatGPT. But before we get there, let me tell you about the background. The background starts with human-computer interaction. Those of you who are scientists, or those of you who work in management or design, I'm quite sure that you are aware of HCI. It's a field of science that has been with us for quite a long time. It's a field of science that is very multidisciplinary. It draws from psychology, it draws from design, it draws from economics and engineering. So there are a lot of knowledge comes in into how do we people interact with technology. I'm saying this has been with us for quite a while because ever since people have started interacting with technology, we have had a need to design this interaction. And HCI is quite a huge field. So by the way, if you're a student of high school or the university, it's a very interesting field to work in. There are design experts, there are developers. It's quite a fine place to work. But we are for now leaving HCI, and we are going a step further. We need to take a step into human-AI interaction. So we are replacing the computer part, and we're taking a narrow focus. So we're taking a step down, or we are taking a zoom in, as you will, because we are talking about AI today. And why is that? Why is human-AI interaction different than human-computer interaction? So we have started interacting in computers quite early. Let's say that the starting point was somewhere around 1960s, so 60 years ago. Was when people that were not scientists or people that were not software developers that they started interacting because tools for that were developed. And those tools included, for example, a computer mouse. So those of you who are from Generation Y or more mature, you definitely remember a computer mouse with a ball inside. That was one of the first ways for us to interact with a computer. But then it kept changing, and it kept changing, and it keeps changing all the time. So we went to the touch interface. Now we have smartphones where we touch and draw everything. Then we had virtual assistants where we can talk to them. Then kind of a weird direction of humanoid robots. I hope we won't get there, because it resembles a lot the uncanny valley effect. But we are taking a good step at the moment towards communicating with computers using our natural language, our natural interface, such as in the ChatGPT, which has been mentioned countless times today. Those of you who have tried using GPT-3, the model behind ChatGPT, at least the first one, might remember that before November, the famous November 2022, there was the playground, still is available, and it was very clickable. So there was a lot of buttons, there were sliders, you just pasted text, you clicked submit, and only then you received your result. So this is something that we, the people, we are quite familiar with, because we've had 60 years of experience with clicking, sliding, pasting, and so on. But we've only had, 4 months of experience interacting with technology that can talk back to us. As you can see here, when was the last time that you used a tool, a clickable tool, and like Excel or Word or any other tool that you used, and you said, "Oh my God, this tool is so bad, I hate it"? What happened? Nothing happened, because you said it to yourself. Well, when you say, "Oh my God, I hate it," to ChatGPT, it talks back. It says, "I'm sorry." Right? So this is the huge change that we are talking about. It's an enormous change in the way we interact with this technology, because it feels natural to us. So talking about human AI interaction, right? So let's try to understand, what do we consider as AI interaction, and what should we not consider as human AI interaction? AI is and has been around us for quite a long time now, and in most cases we don't even see it. We don't even know that AI is there, but it is running the system behind whatever we're doing. So Google Maps, your Face ID on your phone, your spam filters, which have been there for 20 years, the simplest Google search. All of these are run by AI, and if it wasn't for AI, they would not be as good as they are today. But we are not interacting with them, right? We're just using those systems, clicking, going through them, doing whatever we need. The whole thing changes while we are aware of the interaction. So when we talk to the system, it raises us completely different emotions, because it can talk back at us, right, with our natural language. A doctor feels completely differently when he does his own diagnosis from his own mind, rather than what he feels when he uses a system which tells him, "Hey, this might be a broken finger. You might not know it, so check it out. You make the diagnosis, but this might be the thing," right? There's also hardware examples where then the story of interaction is completely different. Obviously, you have the Sophia, the robot, but the simplest things which we already have in our homes, like Roomba, how annoyed we are when it just keeps driving at our feet, right? So if this interaction was any different, it was designed better, also the emotions that we felt during this interaction would be completely different. There's a huge issue regarding trust in human AI interaction, and that trust, for example, it shows up when you drive an autonomous car. Should I drive this car not to kill me? So somebody has to design this interaction in a way that it's trustable for the person. So if I gave you a story about human-computer interaction, then we took a step to human AI interaction. And now we're getting to the end of the story, at least or for the next couple of years. What we believe is going to happen next is human AI collaboration. But collaboration, how? What do you mean how can we collaborate with a machine, with a computer, right? I'm the one in charge, I'm the person. If you look up the simplest definition of collaboration, it does not mention computers. It's only about people, right? I'm not saying the American Psychological Association should change their definition. or maybe they should, but it's really up to them. But what we do see at the moment already is that we are interacting in a way with those machines that feels collaborative. So if that's the case, then we should definitely research that. So where are we now? The graph that you see at the moment is one of the most important pieces that came out of our research. It's been partially based on research by Thomas Malone, the president of Center for CCI at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and partially on our research. So we need to differentiate 4 types of interactions, or 4 levels of interactions that we have with machines, particularly with AI systems. And those 4 levels are tools, something that we are completely fully aware of, and we've been doing that for quite a while. So imagine your spam filter is like a tool, right? Microsoft Designer is a tool. So we just click through it, it designs our pictures for us, and so on. We shut it on, we shut it off, it's a tool. But then comes the second level. And this is the level where ChatGPT is at the moment. So it's an assistive level. So we treat these kind of machines as assistants. They help us do our job better. We are more productive because of them. However, they are reactive. So again, we shut them on, we shut them off, we ask them for stuff, they deliver stuff to us. They deliver us the answers. It works on our demand. It's actually very similar to an assistant person, to a person assistant that works with you, right? So imagine you have a junior staff member in your company and they assist you with your tasks. You give them tasks, they give you results. That's it. But then the next level is when these kind of systems become peers to us. What does it mean to become a peer? It means that these kind of systems would be proactive, so that they would not wait for our question, but they would suggest us what should we do with the information that we have. They would work autonomously, so that we could do our job, and at the same time, a system like this would be doing its own job. And then we come together, a person makes a decision, we continue with other tasks. In our minds, in our opinion, this is the next step. And the thing is that we already have the technology to build this. It's just no one has tried to build it so far. So the AI tools that you see at the moment, they are assistive, but it is very likely that the AI tools that you will see tomorrow and going forward are going to act more like peers. And then we have the 4th level, which at the moment feels a bit abstract to us, but actually has already been mentioned today in some questions from the audience, is when machines act as managers, so they distribute work between people. And to be honest, science fiction nailed it. By the way, when I have shown this slide to a very young audience, nobody knew who this guy is and what this is. So this is Jarvis of 1980s. They nailed it. Why? Both of these systems, Kit and Jarvis, they acted as peers because they acted autonomously and they worked alongside the person. So Tony Stark could have done his job being Iron Man, and then Jarvis was doing his job being Jarvis. Whenever Tony Stark needed anything from Jarvis, he asked him and he got the answer. He could have delegated his own tasks to Jarvis, that Jarvis would do them. Same happened here when there's a clip from Knight Rider when David Hasselhoff falls asleep after driving a Kit, and then Kit takes over, and he makes the decision what to do next. Right? So they are collaborating on the same level. We believe this could be the next step for human-AI interaction. Yeah, here you can see. Having asked ChatGPT, do you think that we are collaborating? It says yes, we are collaborating. But what we do say to that is that we are collaborating in this assistive way for now. Other examples it's not only ChatGPT, right? So as already has been said today, there's a lot of examples of systems like these, a lot of use cases of human AI collaboration in all kinds of forms already visible today. And this brings us to our research. So since we believe this is such an important topic and this is likely the next step, we have to be ready for that. We have to do the work today so that we are ready for the result that is going to come tomorrow. The human AI collaboration in science has been exploding in the last 4 years. It's an explosion that we have not seen quite a big one, quite as big as this one for a long time. As you can see on the simplest Google Scholar query, papers regarding human AI collaboration before 2019, there were just 100 of them. But then in this short period of 3 years, we see a 10 times increase of interest in research in that topic. So it means it's not only us at Koźmiński that we believe this is likely to happen. It's most of scientists that believe this could be the way. Our research in this topic started back in 2018, 2019, with the amazing team led by Professor Przegalińska, together with Leon Ciechanowski and a few other people. They started doing research on chatbots and on how people interact with chatbots. The research was about human likeliness of chatbots, how do people feel while they interact with a chatbot that looks like a chatbot and a chatbot that pretends to be a human. Then the result of this research was that those chatbots that pretend to be human raise very strong negative emotions rather than those chatbots who are just chatbots. A couple of months later, I joined the team and we kept on working and started calling this human AI collaboration because around 2019, 2020, this was when we have seen this could be a thing. In our first research, we tried to create a pilot study. We came up with a method that we are using today on a much bigger scale. What we have found at that time was that there were those four levels of human AI collaboration, which I have already shown you. We have found that people are not quite afraid of adopting AI in their work. However, it's going to be very challenging for companies to develop AI that fits all, to develop a virtual assistant that fits all, because people have different collaboration styles and they want to use different kinds of tools. Another thing that we have found, well, quite obviously, but also quite importantly, is that collaboration like this does increase productivity. So it's not only about using better tools, because people in this study used exactly the same tools. It's just one group of these people, they were collaborating with AI. And this collaboration meant that they were happier with their job, they did more during the time that they had, and they felt that their performance was better. So they were happier with the results that they achieved. This we can consider a pilot study to what we are doing at the moment. Now we are taking this method and applying this on a much bigger scale. We are interviewing 60 people who work in marketing. We want to understand how do they use collaborative AI technologies such as ChatGPT, and then we are going to make a very laboratory-based experiment to test it and to measure it exactly to understand better how this interaction looks like. So what I'm going to show you now are some early results of this research. As you have seen on the previous slide, it's still ongoing. We have a plan to continue doing that in 2023 and 2024. But what we can show today is just a sneak peek. So you are the first audience to ever see that. Starting with the qualitative part, so starting with interviews with marketing professionals, and then our colleague Tamila will tell you all about the quantitative part. Quite obviously, what we learned is that people would like to get rid of tasks that are repetitive. But the catch in that is that for some people who work in creative industry, some creative tasks are also repetitive. So if you have to design the same poster 100 times, it's quite repetitive, even if you are a designer. And from outside, it would be considered a creative tasks. So from outside, you would say, hey, I cannot automate this task because it's creative. But from the inside of the industry in marketing, they say, I don't want to design the same poster 100 times. I would rather have AI do it and then design the whole campaign. So I'd rather manage rather than do the same work over and over, even though it has to change from time to time. There are very different views of productivity among people, which is also quite interesting, but also quite challenging. It's challenging in a way that measuring productivity in organizations and measuring productivity before and after introducing collaborative technologies is quite challenging. That is because some people have definitions of productivity, some people don't. In some organizations, it's managed. In some organizations, it's not managed. We also wanted to learn what do marketing people use ChatGPT for, because at the moment only OpenAI knows what the masses use it for. They do not share the results of how people use it. So we asked the people. What is interesting about marketing people is that they mostly use the tool for text generation rather than text analysis. They mostly use it to get ideas for their content rather than the whole pieces of content. So and in that way, this is collaborative. So ChatGPT would generate a piece of text or generate a couple of bullet points, but then a person takes it over, and then the person finishes the job. So it's not like you delegate the whole task. Hey, I need this text. The chat does this text, and then that's the end of task. This task is handed over between ChatGPT and between a person a few times before it's finished. So it's very, very collaborative. It's quite similar as we would work with a person. There were a couple of problems that could actually be interesting to Microsoft if they're still here to try to think on how to improve ChatGPT. For some people, the interface was too simple because it is very new, right? It's very different. We are used to clicking on buttons, and there aren't any buttons. There's just a text box. Many people didn't even know it spoke Polish. Yes, it does speak Polish. You can ask questions in Polish and get answers. Many people in big organizations especially were afraid about IP. So even though the general knowledge is that you can use results that are generated by these kind of models, many people were still afraid of that, especially in big companies where legal department came in and they said, no, you can't use it because we don't know if it's legal or if it's not, and we need time to verify that. There's even been one organization, a huge corporate, where they banned it completely because they said that we have no idea what are the legal implications, therefore you are banned from using these kind of technologies. Of course, we asked about what else would they like. There are many different features that people would like, and generally the sentiment of people is that they are quite happy with using collaborative technologies, and they want to keep using that. So, again, the story is fulfilled because people want to keep using these kind of technologies. And I would like to leave you with this question. I did use AI to create parts of this presentation, not the whole thing, of course, but did we collaborate? You can answer that question. And with that, let me invite Tamila to tell us about the quantitative part.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for this introduction. And now I want to just jump over to what we started working together. And I joined the group in 2022, last year. So it's been about 6 to 7 months of this fruitful collaboration. And first, I would like to introduce our team. And our team is truly international. We have a lot of diversity. So, of course, the majority comes from the Koźmińskiego University. You already met Alexandra and Konrad on the stage. And Anna and Leon are also from Koźmińskiego University. And I am in the United States. I'm actually traveling from Connecticut. Our university is right in between Boston and New York City geographically. So we are interested in this research. A lot of things has been said today about generative AI, ChatGPT in particular, how it changes the nature of things that we are doing. And it changes things that we work with daily, such as information search. With ChatGPT, similar technologies in our search engines, our daily routines will change. We also learn new skills, such as prompt engineering, something that probably nobody did even a year ago. It affects certain industries, for example, care economy, healthcare, mental health, care for the elderly. So software like this can be used quite a bit to transform care economy. And of course, virtual assistants that Konrad told us about earlier. Our interest in particular is about benefits and challenges of human AI collaboration. And we are interested in augmented intelligence. And Alexander mentioned earlier about human unicorn. So by the way, this image is generated by Stable Diffusion. The prompt was augmented human. I guess that's how they're going to look like in the nearest future. We're looking at this from the perspective of organizations and employees at the same time. From the organizational perspective, using these technologies is very important because it leads to efficiency and effectiveness. But from the human perspective, employees would probably want to have a better working place. And how to achieve that? We are focusing on some of the antecedents of human adoption, which is first, nature of the task. We believe that not all tasks are designed to be solved by AI. And second, employee personality, because we all may perceive new technologies slightly differently. So questions that we are attempting to answer: does task matter in our adoption and usage of AI? Does our personality matter? Does mood we are in today, right now, matter? Or the level of experience in domain that we are working in? And talking about the task, we are looking at the economy of tasks, creative versus routine. And it has been mentioned before that AI has been used quite a bit to help us with tasks that are routine, boring, repetitive. But right now, we see that AI is actually entering creative domains. So we are looking at the nature of the task, creative versus routine, to see where AI can help us better. We also look at the complexity of the task. Some tasks require 5 seconds for a human to solve. Some tasks we can spend days or even weeks. So where does AI come handy? We are looking at this economy as well. And trust is a very important issue. As Konrad mentioned earlier, would we drive a self-driving car? Self-driving car concept has been around for quite a bit, yet it's still somewhat a foreign concept in a way. I'm sure some of us would expect to say yes to this technology, and some of us, well, why don't we wait a little bit to see how it actually works? Same thing may happen in the workplace. Do we trust AI enough to perform our work or help us work on certain tasks? And where all this emotions, trust comes from, we are looking at individual personality of employees as well. And this may include culture and personality, our current mood, and even communication style, the choice of words we use in our prompt engineering. So we came up with an experiment. So we started working on our experimental studies. And for the experiment, we randomly divided participants into 2 groups. In one group, the group worked with generative AI. And in the second group, they used, well, what we call traditional approach, which is search engines and similar. And both groups worked on exactly the same task. So for both groups, we asked them to design a marketing campaign. And marketing was selected because, remember our task dichotomy? We have creative versus routine. We have difficult versus easy. Marketing has it all because there are a lot of different tasks that can be implemented during designing a marketing campaign. To be more specific, we asked our participants to design a marketing campaign for an innovative product, a sustainable chewing gum. And the final product, what they designed, was evaluated by judges located in Poland and in the United States. So to measure individual characteristics, we used NeoFFI, which is a 5-factor index model. It's a survey that consists of 60 questions, and it was generously provided to us by MIT Happy Meter. And the culture can be measured based on the country of location. So right now, we conducted our pilot studies here in Poland, and we are going to conduct additional ones in North America and see if there are any differences. And in addition, we measure demographics, mood, communication style during the experiments. So regarding the tasks, back to creative versus routine, difficult versus easy. In our task, participants were asked to first create a persona, and persona is this ideal consumer of your product. And then they created a text-based ad description. Think of something like you would see on Facebook. We also asked them to come up with a product name, something super catchy, of course, and run a competitive analysis. You'll notice that we have this description, difficult, routine, creative, and so forth. We consulted the marketing team before assigning these characteristics to tasks to make sure that they actually fit our experiment well. So students, the first round was conducted with students. We completed our first round here in Poland. We are going to continue doing this in the United States. And then in summer, we are planning to invite marketing experts to participate in similar experiments and to see how well it works in the industry. And our judges come from marketing profession and also business professors. So we are still in the process of data analysis and data collection, but I just wanted to show some very preliminary results. And this word cloud shows all the words that were created from the chat logs of our participants and ChatGPT. And if you look at it, it seems like ChatGPT is right on the money. Right? So everything here describes marketing strategy for a specific product that we selected, a healthy, innovative chewing gum. We also ran sentiment analysis based on the logs, and we noticed that the majority of our participants, those who worked with the generative AI group, reported satisfaction and positive emotions, so we have about 90% of this. And our future research, after we are done with this stage of our studies, we would like to continue working on organizational transformation and basing on our organization and a human, but also with a focus on customized AI solutions. So if we know how our human employees feel about AI, perhaps we can design AI solutions that are compatible with their ability and desires. And I just wanted to mention the research impact. Although we started working together very, very recently, this work has been invited to be presented in academic conferences. We presented it at the Pacific Asian Conference on Information Systems in Taipei and Sydney, also at the Middle East North African Conference on Information Systems, and we are here today in Warsaw. We are going to present this work also in Greece and Bogota, Colombia in June, and later on, hopefully, in Hawaii in the United States. And I just wanted to thank our team for working on this amazing, incredible work. And also special thanks to the students of Koźmiński University. First developers, students who helped tune the program that was used for the experiment and experiment participants. And of course, the audience. And I couldn't resist, because how could I present today without using generative AI in my presentation? And so this is the spirit of ChatGPT wandering the streets of Warsaw saying, thank you. Thank you for being here today.